Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Explore English Podcast. I'm Jack. This episode is a long listening practice created especially for English learners who want to make real progress step by step. In this episode, you will listen to an inspiring story filled with rich ideas about life, personal growth, and human connections. The language is spoken slowly and clearly. Throughout the story, you will hear many useful vocabulary words. I will explain those words using simple English so you can understand their meaning immediately. You won't need a dictionary because everything will become clear just by listening. Now, before we begin, if you enjoy this lesson, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. It truly helps us create more content like this for you. Now, let's begin our journey together. One chilly morning, I stood outside the doors of the marketing firm where I had worked for 6 years. My knees were shaking. Shaking means moving quickly back and forth because of fear, excitement, or cold weather. My mind felt completely overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means feeling like you have too many emotions or problems to handle at one time. I had just lost my job. The company had downsized unexpectedly. Downsized means a company reduced its number of workers to save money. I had no backup plan and no clear direction. Direction means a path, purpose, or goal to follow. People were rushing past me on the busy sidewalk. Sidewalk means the paved path beside a road where people walk. Yet, despite the crowd, I felt completely isolated. Isolated means feeling alone and separated from everyone else. I sat down on a nearby wooden bench. City buses drove past, emitting loud noises. I felt thoroughly disoriented. Disoriented means confused and unable to think clearly about where you are or what to do next. I was deeply anxious. Anxious means feeling worried, nervous, or uneasy. While sitting there, I closed my eyes and took a long, deep breath. I decided to anchor myself in the present. The present means the exact moment happening right now, not yesterday or tomorrow. I whispered quietly, this setback is not the final chapter. It is simply a fresh start. A setback is a problem that delays your progress. Saying those words aloud made me feel notably calmer. Notably means in a way that is easy to notice or see. I felt a little bit better. As I opened my eyes, an elderly gentleman paused and looked down at me with a soft smile. His expression was reassuring. Reassuring means helping someone feel less worried and more hopeful. He asked gently if I needed any assistance. Assistance means help or support. I admitted that I had just been laid off and felt lost. Laid off means losing your job because the company no longer has work for you to do. He nodded thoughtfully. Thoughtfully means showing that you are thinking carefully about something. He sat down beside me and said, "Young man, years ago, I lost my business during a financial crisis. A crisis is a time of intense difficulty or danger. I thought my life was over. But that loss pushed me to discover a completely new trajectory. Trajectory means a route, direction, or development path over time." He explained that after losing his business, he was filled with grief. Grief means deep sadness caused by loss. However, he gradually gathered the courage to reinvent himself. Reinvent means to change your life or job so completely that you feel like a new person. He started taking evening courses in landscaping and eventually launched his own local garden design company. He told me it was an arduous journey, but it was incredibly rewarding. Arduous means requiring a lot of effort and energy. Rewarding means providing satisfaction and valuable results. His words offered me a surge of hope. A surge is a sudden and powerful increase of a feeling or movement. That evening, I sat at my kitchen counter with a blank journal. A journal is a notebook used for writing down thoughts, plans, and daily experiences. I resolved to make a firm commitment to my personal development. Commitment means a serious promise or dedication to a goal. I wrote down a firm declaration, I will not surrender to despair. Despair means a complete loss of hope. I decided that every week, I would engage in one unfamiliar activity. Engage in means to participate or take part in something. Unfamiliar means strange or not well known to you. I looked around my quiet apartment and felt a profound sense of appreciation. Profound means very deep or intense. Appreciation means recognizing the value and goodness of something. I experienced a strong feeling of gratitude. Gratitude means a feeling of being thankful and appreciative. I told myself that the very next morning, I would institute a small routine change. Institute means to set up, introduce, or start something new. The next morning, I woke up significantly earlier than usual. Significantly means in a noticeable or important way. For example, waking up at 6 instead of 8 is significantly earlier. The sun was just rising, casting a warm orange light through my window. I brewed a warm cup of coffee and stared at the morning sky. I wanted to execute my plan immediately. Execute means to carry out or perform an action or plan. Immediately means right away, without any delay. My primary goal for the day was to take a 40-minute walk through a neighborhood I had never explored. Primary means most important or main. Walking through a new area felt slightly daunting. Daunting means seeming difficult, intimidating, or scary to accomplish. I put on my sneakers and headed toward the west side of town. The morning air was crisp and invigorating. Invigorating means making a person feel energetic and alive. As I walked, I began to observe the details around me. To observe means to watch carefully and pay attention to what is happening. I observed local shopkeepers opening their doors. I observed a street artist painting a beautiful mural on a brick wall. A mural is a large painting applied directly to a wall or surface. I also observed the gentle sound of leaves rustling in the breeze. Rustling means making a soft, dry sound as things rub together. I felt immensely curious about the vibrant community around me. Vibrant means full of energy, life, and activity. When I returned to my apartment, I felt genuinely accomplished. Accomplished means feeling satisfied because you have successfully completed something. It was a modest action, but it felt meaningful. Modest means small or humble in scale. I recorded the experience in my journal. I had completed my first task. A task is a specific piece of work to be done. A few days later, I decided to visit a local community center. A community center is a public place where members of a neighborhood gather for group activities, social support, and educational programs. I wanted to spend my time productively and contribute to something positive. Productively means doing things that produce good and useful results. Contribute means to give time, money, or effort to help achieve something. When I stepped inside, the director, a friendly woman named Sarah, greeted me warmly. She explained that they were seeking volunteers to assist with a youth literacy program. Literacy means the ability to read and write. A volunteer is a person who offers to do work without asking for pay. Sarah asked if I would be willing to mentor a middle school student with his reading comprehension. Mentor means to advise, guide, and help someone grow in knowledge or skills. Reading comprehension means the ability to read text, process it, and understand its meaning. I felt somewhat hesitant at first. Hesitant means slow to speak or act because you feel uncertain or nervous. I worried that I might not be a good teacher. However, Sarah introduced me to an 11-year-old boy named Leo, who was struggling to read English storybooks. Leo was exceptionally reserved. Reserved means quiet and shy, preferring not to show feelings or talk much. I sat beside him at a wooden table and opened an adventure book. As we took turns reading paragraphs out loud, I helped him sound out complex words. Complex means difficult to understand or analyze. Whenever he read a difficult sentence correctly, his eyes lit up with pride. Seeing his joy provided a profoundly comforting feeling. Comforting means making you feel calmer, safer, or happier. In that moment, I realized that helping others can illuminate our own paths during dark times. Illuminate means to light up or make clearer. Over the next few weeks, I spent several afternoons at the center. I discovered that many of the children came from underprivileged backgrounds. Underprivileged means having less money, security, or rights than other people in society. Hearing their stories made me feel deeply empathetic. Empathetic means having the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Time continued to move forward. Days turned into weeks. I maintained my daily habit of exploring new activities and volunteering. Each experience built my self-reliance. Self-reliance means the ability to depend on your own efforts and abilities. I was learning that confidence develops incrementally. Incrementally means in a series of small, steady steps or additions over time. However, just as I felt I was regaining my footing, an unexpected obstacle appeared. An obstacle is a thing that blocks your way or prevents progress. One rainy Monday afternoon, my landlord sent me a formal notice stating that he was renovating the building. Renovating means repairing and improving a building to make it look new. Because of this, my lease was being terminated early, and I had 30 days to vacate. Terminated means brought to an end. Vacate means to leave or vacate a property so that others can use it. The news felt like a major setback. I slumped onto my sofa, feeling utterly overwhelmed. Slumped means sat or fell down heavily due to exhaustion or sadness. Utterly means completely and totally. I had worked hard to build a peaceful routine, and now everything felt chaotic again. Chaotic means completely confused and lacking order. For 2 days, I succumbed to frustration. Succumb to means gave in to a powerful force, feeling, or temptation. I stopped writing in my journal and avoided answering my phone. Then, I recalled the advice of the gentleman from the bench. Every disruption contains the seeds of a new opportunity. A disruption is a disturbance or problem that interrupts an event, activity, or process. I realized that finding a new place to live could open doors to a fresh environment. I began searching online listings for affordable rooms. The search was grueling. Grueling means extremely tiring and demanding. Many apartments were out of my budget or located far away from the city center. Eventually, I secured a room in a shared residence. A residence is a home or a place where someone lives. Shared means occupied or used by multiple people. I felt anxious about living with roommates I had never met before. On my moving day, I met my new roommate, Marcus. Marcus was a freelance graphic designer who worked late hours. Graphic designer means a professional who creates visual concepts by hand or using computer software. Initially, Marcus seemed quite aloof. Aloof means cool, distant, or not friendly. But as the days went by, we began having short conversations in the kitchen over tea. He spoke about the struggles of maintaining a stable income as an independent artist. Stable means steady, predictable, and unlikely to change suddenly. Living with housemates presented several challenges. A challenge is a difficult task or situation that tests someone's ability. We had different habits regarding cleanliness and noise levels. However, these situations taught me the art of negotiation. Negotiation means discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. I learned to practice tolerance and effective communication. Tolerance means the willingness to accept behavior and beliefs that are different from your own. We created a shared chart for household chores, which resolved our minor conflicts smoothly. Conflicts mean disagreements or arguments. Shortly after moving, I secured a temporary position at a local educational academy as an administrative assistant. Administrative assistant means a person whose job is to support office staff with tasks like organizing files, answering phone calls, and scheduling meetings. Temporary means lasting for only a limited period of time. During my second week, I made a noticeable error. I accidentally sent the weekly schedule with incorrect meeting times to all the department heads. Confusion spread across the office quickly. Several instructors missed their sessions, and one senior director expressed strong irritation. Irritation means a feeling of annoyance or anger. I felt intensely embarrassed. Embarrassed means feeling self-conscious, ashamed, or uncomfortable. I contemplated leaving the office early to avoid facing the mistake. Contemplated means thought deeply about doing something. Instead, I walked directly into my manager's office to take ownership of the mistake. My manager, a seasoned leader named Ms. Davis, listened calmly. Seasoned means experienced and knowledgeable in a particular activity or job. She said, "Jack, errors are inevitable when you are learning a new system. Inevitable means certain to happen and unable to be avoided. What defines your professionalism is how promptly and responsibly you correct the situation." Promptly means quickly and without delay. I apologized to the affected staff members and sent out a corrected schedule immediately. To my surprise, many colleagues appreciated my directness and honesty. I learned that accountability builds credibility faster than perfection ever could. Accountability means taking responsibility for your actions. Credibility means the quality of being trusted and believed in. Around this period, my close friend Sarah informed me that she was relocating to another state for a promotion. Relocating means moving to a new place to live or work. Promotion means a move to a higher position or rank in a company. I felt a quiet sadness settle over me. We spent her final weekend in the city exploring our favorite local parks and coffee shops. We reflected on the years of shared memories. Reflected on means thought deeply or carefully about past events. When she boarded her train, the city felt slightly emptier. Emptier means having less meaning, activity, or joy. I found myself wanting to call her constantly, but I restrained myself so I wouldn't intrude on her busy transition. Restrained means kept under control or prevented oneself from doing something. Intrude means to enter a situation without invitation or permission. I came to realize how significantly meaningful friendships influence our perspective on life. Perspective means a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something. Even though she was geographically distant, her past encouragement continued to inspire me during moments of self-doubt. Geographically means with respect to physical position and location. There came a period when life felt exceptionally heavy again. Balancing my new work schedule, housemates, and the absence of my close friend overwhelmed my mental energy. I began doubting my resilience. Resilience means the capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. I questioned whether I was truly capable of creating a fulfilling life on my own. Fulfilling means providing happiness and satisfaction. I contemplated moving back to my childhood hometown. Hometown means the town or city where a person lived during their childhood. One evening, while sitting silently in my dark room, Marcus knocked gently on my door. He invited me to attend an open mic music session at an indie cafe down the street. Indie means independent, usually referring to pop culture or music produced outside major commercial companies. I initially declined, but he persistently encouraged me to join him. Persistently means continuing firmly or obstinately in a course of action despite difficulty or opposition. The atmosphere at the cafe was warm and welcoming. Musicians shared heartfelt songs, and local poets recited their work. Heartfelt means deeply felt and sincere. Recited means repeated aloud from memory or read aloud before an audience. Sitting in that cozy space, listening to real stories of struggle and passion through art, reminded me that emotional hardship is a universal human experience. Universal means existing everywhere or involving everyone. That night, I opened my journal and wrote a letter to my future self. I documented every obstacle I had successfully navigated over the past few months. Documented means recorded something in writing or other permanent forms. I wrote, "Growth is rarely linear." Linear means progressing in a straight, direct line. You are adapting, learning, and progressing even when the movement feels invisible. Invisible means unable to be seen. As weeks turned into months, my confidence in my administrative role increased significantly. I also formed genuine friendships with my housemates and fellow volunteers at the community center. I experienced a strong sense of belonging. Belonging means a feeling of being accepted and comfortable as part of a group. One calm Sunday afternoon, while sitting in a sunny library corner with a notebook, an innovative idea occurred to me. Innovative means featuring new methods or original ideas. What if I created a structured workshop series at the community center focused on workplace communication skills for young adults entering the job market? A workshop is a period of discussion and practical work on a particular subject, where people share knowledge and hands-on experience. I had gained valuable knowledge through my recent challenges, administrative work, and mentoring experience. I knew I could structure a helpful curriculum. Curriculum means the subjects comprising a course of study in a school or college. The idea filled me with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means intense and eager enjoyment, interest, or approval. I spent the remainder of the afternoon outlining lesson modules, practical exercises, and interactive discussion topics. Interactive means involving active participation between people. The following morning, I prepared a detailed proposal to present to Sarah at the community center. A proposal is a formal written plan put forward for consideration by others. I outlined the primary objectives, target audience, and expected outcomes of the communication workshop. Objectives mean goals or aims. Outcomes mean the results or effects of an action or event. When I presented the document to Sarah, she read through it carefully, nodding in approval. Approval means official acceptance or agreement. She looked up and said, "Jack, this program addresses a major need in our community. We can schedule your first session for next Saturday morning in our main seminar room." A seminar room is a room used for small group discussions and educational training. A wave of relief swept over me. Relief means a feeling of reassurance and relaxation following release from anxiety or distress. On the morning of the inaugural workshop, rain was pouring outside. Inaugural means marking the beginning of an institution, activity, or period of office. I worried that no one would attend. However, 8 young adults walked through the door, shaking off their umbrellas and looking eager to learn. Eager means strongly wanting to do or have something. I opened the session by sharing my own history of career setbacks, professional mistakes, and the importance of effective communication. I spoke articulately and deliberately. Articulately means expressing coherent and clear ideas in speech. Deliberately means done consciously and intentionally, taking time to be clear. Initial shyness quickly dissolved into active participation. Dissolved means gradually vanished or disappeared. The attendees engaged in mock interviews and role-playing scenarios. Mock interviews mean practice interviews designed to simulate real job interviews. By the end of 2 hours, the room was filled with laughter and constructive feedback. Constructive means serving a useful purpose and offering helpful suggestions. Walking home that afternoon, I felt a deep, undeniable sense of fulfillment. Undeniable means clearly true and impossible to deny. Word about the practical communication workshop spread rapidly. Within a month, attendance tripled. Tripled means became 3 times as great in size, amount, or number. The original seminar room quickly became inadequate for the growing audience. Inadequate means not enough or good enough for a particular purpose. I discussed the spatial limitations with Sarah. Spatial limitations mean restrictions related to physical space and room capacity. She connected our program with a local vocational college that offered to lend us their spacious auditorium free of charge. Vocational college means an educational institution that provides specialized practical training for specific trades or careers. Auditorium means a large room or hall built to enable an audience to hear and watch performances or presentations. The new location allowed us to incorporate audiovisual tools, guest speakers, and structured networking activities. Incorporate means to include something as part of a whole. Networking means interacting with other people to exchange information and develop professional contacts. The workshop transformed into a collaborative ecosystem. Ecosystem, in this context, means a complex network or interconnected system of supportive people. Senior students began mentoring newer members, creating an environment of mutual empowerment. Mutual means experienced or expressed by two or more people toward each other. Empowerment means the process of becoming stronger and more confident in controlling one's life. Inspired by the success of the weekly workshops, I decided to coordinate an annual community showcase. Coordinate means to organize all the different parts of an activity so that they work together effectively. The event would feature workshop participants delivering short, inspiring speeches about their personal journeys, career aspirations, and lessons learned. Aspirations mean hopes or ambitions of achieving something. Organizing the showcase required meticulous preparation. Meticulous means showing great attention to detail, very careful and precise. I spent countless evenings organizing stage logistics, managing guest invitations, coordinating sound equipment, and conducting rehearsal sessions with the speakers. Logistics means the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation. Rehearsal means a practice session for a public performance. At times, the heavy workload generated significant stress. Generated means produced or created. However, watching the participants gain confidence during rehearsals kept me motivated. On the evening of the showcase, over 200 community members filled the auditorium. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Anticipation means excitement about something good that is going to happen. Participants stepped up to the microphone one by one, delivering passionate stories of perseverance. Perseverance means continued effort to achieve something despite difficulties or delays. The audience responded with thunderous applause after every presentation. Thunderous applause means extremely loud clapping from a crowd expressing high praise. Tears of joy were visible throughout the room. A few weeks after the showcase, an official envelope arrived in my mailbox bearing the logo of the State Department of Workforce Development. They were hosting a regional conference on community-led education initiatives and invited me to serve as a keynote speaker. Regional means relating to a specific area or region of a country. Conference means a formal meeting for discussion or presentation of ideas. Keynote speaker means the main speaker at a formal event whose speech sets the central theme. I felt a combination of profound honor and sudden panic. Presenting to small workshops was familiar, but addressing hundreds of educators, policymakers, and civic leaders felt intimidating. Policymakers mean people responsible for making official rules and laws. Civic leaders mean community figures who actively work to improve local public life. I accepted the invitation and dedicated 3 weeks to refining my speech. Refining means making fine adjustments to improve clarity and effectiveness. I gathered real statistics, personal narratives, and video highlights from our weekly workshops. Narratives mean spoken or written accounts of connected events, stories. I practiced my delivery endlessly in front of a full-length mirror, adjusting my posture and speech pacing. Pacing means the speed at which something happens or is performed. The day of the regional conference arrived. Stepping onto the auditorium stage, the bright stage lights blinded my vision momentarily. Momentarily means for a very short time. I adjusted the microphone, looked out at the vast audience, and took a deep, steadying breath. Vast means extremely large in area or number. I began speaking with conviction. Conviction means a firmly held belief or opinion. I shared my personal journey, from standing shocked on a cold street corner after losing my job, to discovering purpose through small, daily actions and community service. I emphasize that real education happens when we create safe environments for individuals to embrace mistakes and build genuine resilience. Embrace means to accept or support something willingly. The room remained completely silent as the audience absorbed every word. Absorbed means took in and fully understood information. When I concluded my address, the entire auditorium stood up, offering a sustained standing ovation. Sustain means continuing for an extended period. Ovation means a sustained and enthusiastic show of appreciation from an audience, especially by clapping. As I stood on that stage, a deep feeling of humility and gratitude washed over me. Humility means a modest view of one's own importance. I realized that every single challenge, mistake, and unexpected turn in my life had contributed directly to that moment of impact. When I look back on this journey, the lessons stand out clearly. True progress is built step by step, through persistence, self-compassion, and meaningful connections with others. Persistence means continuing firmly despite difficulty. Self-compassion means extending compassion and understanding to oneself in instances of perceived inadequacy or failure. Every difficulty carries an opportunity for growth if we choose to view it as a learning experience. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this episode has helped you practice your English in an engaging and thoughtful way. Remember, mastering a language is not just about memorizing rules, it's about connecting with real human stories, ideas, and emotions. If you found value in this lesson, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Explore English Podcast, and share it with someone who is practicing their English journey. I'm Jack, and I want to remind you to keep listening, keep practicing, and keep believing in your potential.